pressure due to a particular environmental pressure, particular environmental uh, pressure, the organisms, the organisms develop. It is not deliberately, not deliberately, but it is out of nowhere. It's just an event of chance, but it happens that organisms develop a mutation that would lead them to lead them to become able to able to survive that pressure. Like if an organism is constantly facing the pressure of extreme weather, let's say extreme temperature or something, and you have hundreds and thousands of those organisms, one or two maybe out of all of them would develop a mutation that would lead them to survive it. This phenomena is basically understandable in the bacteria and in the insects as well. You know what happens? After a few years, you have to change your insecticides. Do you know about the insecticides or pesticides?
Yeah.
Hmm. So what happens that after some time, after some years, you always have to, you always have to um, change your insecticides or pesticides. And why is that? Basically, it is because that insects start developing a resistance against a particular chemical that you spray on your crops or in your homes. Suppose that we are using a particular product to kill the mosquitoes at home, but that particular product would become useless after 4 or 5 years because there might be an insect that has developed a mutation to tackle that particular what I must say a chemical. Similar thing happens in the bacteria. The bacteria develop a mutation that would that would um, that would make the bacteria able to survive survive a survive a chemical that is life threatening. So simply that mutation would be uh, would be good for bacteria but very bad for us. It would be lethal for us. Now, why the bacteria needed to develop this mutation? Why it happened? Remember, I told you, due to a particular environmental pressure, due to a particular, let me increase a word here. Let me add a word here. Due to a particular permanent, like this pressure is very frequent. It's not it's not the thing of like it happened today, then happened next week, then happened 5 days after, then happened, let's say 15 days after. No, it is happening very frequently, just like within one day. It keeps on happening again and again and again. So basically, what is basically happening that a particular pressure that is permanent would make the organism able to survive something. It would make the organism able to develop a mutation that would make that would enable to survive it. So suppose the problem is that very frequent very frequent use of antibiotics. This frequent use of antibiotics would become a constant pressure. It would act as a constant pressure, leading to mutation, leading to the survival, leading to the survival technique. Like there is a bacteria, there is a bacterium which is constantly facing an antibiotic. That bacterium is constantly facing an antibiotic. Now that antibiotic would be that antibiotic exposure is so much frequent, it is so much frequent that the bacteria is now starting to develop a survival tactic, which is mutation. So basically, very frequent use is very dangerous, and it happens over here, at least in Pakistan. Like, we start using the antibiotics so frequently, it becomes like a toffee for many of our children. Like, it becomes like a sweet thing. So
yeah,
that is the thing. That is a dangerous thing. Many times now, it is a blessing that, especially when we go to the pediatricians, the child specialists, the doctors who diagnose different problems in the children, they ask us to, like, maximally avoid the antibiotics in children. Maximally. And they ask us to do some they ask us to opt some of those remedies which are homemade remedies. You may know another name of these homemade remedies. There is another name for them in Urdu. Do you know about it?
like what specific?
Like, it is called as totke. Like, you do it at home, you can ask your mother or father. It is just like, you just crush some particular plants, and you make and you boil them, and you filter the residual parts of the plant, and give that water to the children. That would be good for their throat, and it's literally good, because it is, like, obviously a homemade remedy running for almost, I don't know how many years. So basically, these are homemade remedies. These are total natural things. They don't give the children specific chemicals which are laboratory made. So that is the thing. That is the helpful practice. That is the good practice that would keep the children away from the antibiotics. Now, very frequent use of antibiotics would lead the bacteria to develop mutation. Number two, not completing not completing the course of antibiotic course, or you can say time of antibiotic prescribed by the physician. What is the meaning of this sentence?
So home remedies,
Can you please say it out loud?
home remedies,
Basically, it means that a physician suggested you 7 day or 5 day course of antibiotic consumption. So, many times it happens that 3, 5, or 7 day course is prescribed, and they sometime they say that you have to take an antibiotic for 24 hours, one per 24 hours, or maybe one per 12 hours for 5 days or maybe 7 days. And it changes with their, like, potency. You can say, if it is almost above 500 milligrams, then they ask you to take it one per 24 hour. But if it is around 350 or 250 milligrams, then they would ask you to take one per 12 hours for 5 days. So this is the prescription suggested by the suggested by the physicians. So if you are not completing it, what happens? The disease, the disease or infection, the disease or infection which was uh, getting suppressed, getting suppressed, now rising again, now rising again. When it would rise again, you have to restart that course. Now you have to restart what you left unfinished. What you left unfinished. That is the problem. When you restart what you left unfinished, then suddenly the things get even more bad, and you now would have to take the same antibiotics again. That would be that may lead to it does not mean it would, but it may lead to antibiotic resistance because bacteria are again in power. They are again in power, so that would be dangerous. Then third, using the same antibiotic again and again, same antibiotic repeatedly. This is, in my opinion, this is dangerous, one of the most dangerous, you can say, cause that would lead to the development of antibiotic resistance in bacteria. Now, what would happen that when you are using it again and again and again, you are using it repeatedly. The problem is that you should have been using the antibiotics by changing the salt. Changing the salt. Salt must have been changed. Salt mean the active ingredient, the ingredient that was really working against the bacteria, that should have been changed. But now what is happening, you are using the same antibiotic. It makes it even, you can say it raises the chances of antibiotic resistance up to 60%. If there were chances up to 20%, now there are chances up to 60% because you are using the things again and again. And when does it happen? It happens due to usage of broad spectrum antibiotic. What is a broad spectrum antibiotic? Do you know?
Um, no, I haven't.
A broad spectrum antibiotic is an antibiotic that can be used again, it can be used in case of many different diseases, many different infections. Just like a random diarrhea, not cholera, a random diarrhea, just seasonal flu, then we use broad spectrum antibiotic. And these broad spectrum, because now the broad spectrum has a very broad target. They are made on the principle that they have a very broad target. Now, when you use an antibiotic that has a broad target, you try to use it again and again so that multiple problems of yours may be cured. But the problem is this, that you are using that salt again and again, and there is a quite the higher chance that they would be developing the antibiotic resistance. So these 2 points are different. Number one, very frequent use of antibiotic. Frequent means that you are using different, but very frequently. Like you are just using antibiotic in every disease. Using antibiotic in every disease. Remember, antibiotic is not made for every disease. using antibiotic in every disease, and using the same antibiotic repeatedly means that whatever happens, whatever the infection is, you are using the same one again and again. And the fourth and one of the biggest reasons is using the antibiotics, consuming the antibiotics, antibiotics in viral infections. I told you the reason why we cannot use the antibiotics in viral infections. Why cannot we use the antibiotic against viruses?
because they never cellular.
Yeah, hold on. Yes. So the the antibiotics basically are they are made for bacteria. Now, what people do, the a person is suffering with hepatitis and they start using the antibiotic. Now, that is like literally something very much foolish, extremely foolish. So that must be avoided. That must be avoided. Similarly, people start using when you have some sort of, let's say, um, the flu. When you have flu, they start using the antibiotic. The problem is sometime we need to use antibiotics in viral infections. In viral infections, but why do you think is that? Because why do you think is that sometimes we do use the antibiotics in viral infections? Because bacteria attack us attack us due to compromised compromised immune system during viral infection. Our immune system is compromised. Obviously, why? Because our immune system is busy tackling the viruses. Now it would attack us. The bacteria is opportunistic. Your immune system is compromised, it would attack on you. In that case only, it means that you basically did not use the antibiotics for viruses. You are using the antibiotics to tackle the bacteria that became opportunistic, and they started attacking on your body. So basically you are now vulnerable. So that is why you use the antibiotic. The thing is that suppose that there are 100 people in a population, 100 people, and one, like maybe 40 out of 100 people, 40 out of 100 people got an infection. Now, suppose that all are using, all are using same antibiotic. There you can easily get the idea what I'm trying to say over here. All are using same antibiotic. Now suppose that there are 1 million bacteria in those 40 people. In those 40 people, the total bacteria are 1 million. 1 million bacteria are there. Now these 1 million bacteria, out of these 1 million, let's say due to the chemical, how many got killed? Suppose 900,000 got killed. It means 100,000 are still there. 100,000 are still there. Now these 100,000s These 100,000 are you treat them with the same chemical again, and suppose that uh, or the bacteria that are only left out of the whole population, the bacteria that are only left in the end, the total bacteria which are not killed, in the end, the total bacteria which are not killed, let's say they are totally 50. 50 bacteria are not killed, but these 50 are basically the real alarm now. Why? Because they are now resistant. You killed a lot of them, you killed a lots and lots of them, but now it is useless. You cannot use it anymore. You cannot use it anymore. You bombarded the bacteria with the same antibiotic again and again and again and again, but now there is no use. Suppose this is one bacteria. It gets divided into two, then it get divides into two more. The bacterial reproduction, the bacterial reproduction have a particular name, and that particular name is binary fission. That particular name is binary fission.
yeah,
So then they divide into two more, then two again, then two again. Like you can imagine that now two, then two more. Then like every one of them is dividing into two. Suppose that in the end, you like these, and then this. Just look at this. They are constantly multiplying again and again and again, all of them into two. Now what happens that you applied the antibiotics. You applied the antibiotics, and antibiotics are killing what? They are killing this and this. All of them are getting killed. All of them are getting killed again and again. The last two are surviving. Now they would grow. They would reproduce. They would reproduce, and they would now do the rest. They would now restart the infection. They would now, they cannot be tackled now. They cannot be tackled now because there are no more chemicals. No, like it does not mean no more chemicals. You have the chemicals, but you do have the chemicals, but this particular antibiotic is now useless. Suppose this antibiotic was named as ampicillin. This was named as ampicillin. Now, this is useless now. You have to change the chemical, you have to change the salt. Um, there are many bacteria which are known as superbugs. Superbugs bacteria are those which are called as, which are defined as the bacteria that are resistant to each antibiotic currently available. Currently available. And one of them is named as MRSA, literally responsible for a disease called as flesh-eating bacteria. It causes the infection so dangerous, it literally starts like removing the skin and meat of your skin if it enters into your body. MRSA basically was a very, you can say, it was a non-harmful bacteria. Its name was Staphylococcus aureus. Staphylococcus aureus. So we tried dealing this Staphylococcus aureus with a particular antibiotic, penicillin. Penicillin started killing them, like this got killed, but this one is now resistant to penicillin. Now what happened? We started using a derivative of penicillin. Focus now. We started using a derivative of penicillin. This is called as methicillin. Methicillin killed the Staphylococcus aureus for a very, very long time, but now they have produced a strain, a type of them called as methicillin resistant Staphylococcus aureus, Staphylococcus aureus, or MRSA. This is MRSA, methicillin resistant Staphylococcus aureus. This was like literally very much controllable until we applied so many salts on it that it is no more in responding to any one of them, constantly multiplying and literally a flesh eating bacteria. Flesh eating bacteria. Now this one is one of the most haunting one, and it mostly happens, the MRSA usually present on our skin, usually present on our skin, and it is harmless. It is harmless until sorry, until it enters into your body due to a non-sterilization technique. Less until enters. So that basically is one of the like it literally happens at the hospitals. It literally happens at the hospitals that a person is provided with a syringe, with the medication with the help of a syringe, and that syringe was, and the area was of spring application, of syringe application was so much contaminated that when you penetrated the that what I must say, when you penetrated the needle of the syringe into the person, that the Staphylococcus aureus, along with the syringe, got into your blood. Now it would spread, and it would now lead to very dangerous consequences. Any problem?
Yeah, it's clear.
Okay. I would like you to please be very quick. Repeat all of them, revise all of them. Be very quick. All of the Jamboard sheets. Then we'll be starting the next chapter. Open the Jamboard sheet on your side. I'm going to open the new one.
Okay.
Save the link that is present in the inbox. I have updated the access of the Jamboard.
Okay. Save the thing. Okay. Great.
Okay, are you done?
With the revising?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So now we are going to start a new chapter, gaseous exchange, and one of the easiest chapter, but a few things in this chapter basically require our focus. They basically require our focus. Gaseous exchange and breathing. Just give me a few seconds. Okay, so what is your idea about these two concepts that are mentioned over here, gaseous exchange and breathing? Is there difference in these two phenomena or they are same?
I think that link.
I'm sorry, repeat it.
I think they're linked.
You think they are linked, but they are different because if something is same, there is no point of saying that they are linked. Like obviously, if two things are different, they can be linked. But if two things are same, then we cannot say they are linked. The same is same. Basically, you are right. They are linked, but they are different and very different. The gaseous exchange, it mostly occurs at cellular level. At cellular level, the breathing is a very different phenomena. And remember that breathing occurs at mechanical level. Mechanical level. And breathing is the other name for ventilating the air into and out of your lungs. Into and out of your lungs. Now remember that when we say that the air is being ventilated, when we say that air is being ventilated, what is the meaning of it? Can you tell me meaning of ventilation?
That it's being constantly, mm, like already used is going out and new everything.
The ventilation means moving the air. You move the air, but with the help of with the help of a pressure gradient. Now, please be quick and guess what is the pressure gradient.
Area of high concentration area. No, it's
Obviously, on one side of the medium, something is higher, and on the other side, something is lower. Then it would be called as a gradient. That would be called as a gradient. So we move the air with the help of the pressure gradient. There is a very common phenomena. There is a very common phenomena. Suppose that you have this particular surface, and on this side, the air pressure, the air pressure is higher. Air pressure is higher, and on the other side, the air pressure is lower. Where do you think the air would move?
Air would move down.
Air would move down. Similar thing happens when you talk about how the storms come, how the storm comes, or how speedy winds, how do they run. It is often one of the most general phenomena that we study in the junior classes, that sometime the air closer to the surface of the earth becomes heated, and it would rise up due to lower pressure, because the air with more temperature would have lesser pressure. It would rise up and it would be covered with the empty space would be covered with the high pressured cold air, and the cold air would suddenly move downward, and the speedy winds, the speedy wind starts. So basically it's the matter of the pressure difference, matter of the pressure difference. Even when we try opening a room after a few days, we feel that the room is suffocating. Room is suffocating. What do? We open the windows, and the air from outside, because of the higher pressure, moves inside. Or if the air on the inside of the room is of higher pressure, it would be moving outside. So this is the situation. We need to move the air with the help of we need to move the air with the help of the pressure difference. Now, for this purpose, our body has a breathing system. Our body has a breathing system. Now, the breathing system, typically, the breathing system must have a strategy, must have some strategy. It must have some strategy to lower down the pressure or increase the pressure inside the lungs, inside the lungs. See, let's make it very simple. Let's make it very obvious. Where do we need to take the air in our body? Do we need to take the air in our body?
The lungs.
In the lungs. Why? Because the gaseous exchange, because the gas exchange site, because of gas exchanging sites. Gas exchanging sites are present inside the lungs. So we need to move the air into the lungs. It means that we must know how, or our body must manage that, how it would be increasing the pressure inside the lungs or decreasing the pressure inside the lungs. This is a matter of pressure difference. It is a matter of pressure difference between air in the lungs, air in the lungs versus air outside. Very important to know. Air outside and air in the lungs. You need to manage it in a way that air in the lungs should be higher sometimes, and air in the lungs should have lower pressure sometimes. So obviously that would be great. Now, see, when we try to increase or decrease the pressure, increasing or decreasing the pressure, increasing or decreasing the pressure of air would require would require expansion and squeezing of lungs. Squeezing of lungs. What does it typically mean? See, we are not increasing the air pressure with the help of a motor. We are not increasing the air pressure with the help of a machinery. We are not increasing the pressure with the help of a fan. We are not increasing the pressure with any mechanical device. We are increasing the pressure or decreasing the pressure by a simple rule. By a simple rule. And what that rule is? The rule is more the space in a balloon, in a balloon or a box. I'm sorry. I would say yes. The space in a box or a balloon is inversely proportional to the air pressure inside. Now you can elaborate it. Replace the box slash balloon with the lungs. Space in the lungs inversely proportional to air inside. Now you can interpret it. Can you tell me, simplify this expression for me?
So basically, the volume inside the box is equal to the inverse of the air pressure inside, reciprocal of the air.
No, 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 no. Hold on. Space in a box. Space means larger the space, larger the volume, or larger the space, lesser would be the air pressure, would be the air pressure. And smaller the space inside, higher would be the pressure, would be the air pressure. This particular rule would be applied on the lungs. If you expand the lungs, if you expand the lungs, you would be reducing the air pressure. And if you squeeze the lungs, you would be increasing air pressure inside the lungs. So I can also okay, I'll tell you that later. Now it means now let's summarize all of the things. It literally means that when we are trying to inhale, what is the meaning of inhalation?
Taking
Sorry.
it, breathing acting, breathing in.
First thing, I would request you to change your mic in the next lesson, because even today I'm not able to properly hear you. I've been using the same headphone for rest of the classes, and I hear clear voices. So please make it sure. Inhale. Inhale means taking in the air, or obviously breathing in. Breathing in. So breathing in, it means what would happen in this phenomena? In this phenomena, you would just uh, expand your lungs. You would manage to expand your lungs to reduce air pressure. To reduce air pressure. Then the next phenomena is exhalation. Exhalation is when, hold on, exhale. When we exhale, we breathe out. When we breathe out, it means that we squeeze our lungs to increase air pressure inside. Remember, I'm talking about the air pressure inside. So that is another way to understand it. Now it means that the the total system that we possess, the total system that we have, that we call as the breathing system, that total system is basically arranged in a manner that it could expand or it could relax, or sorry, it could expand or it would squeeze so that the lungs the lungs can manage the inside movement of the air and the outside movement of the air. That is the point. That is the whole point of the thing. So now let's say if I write down over here respiratory system of respiratory system only. Now, whatever the system you are looking at right now, suppose I open this particular sample. Look at this. Whatever the system you are looking at right now, this whole system is actually actually designed to increase the total area of the lungs or decrease the total area so that you can make a change in the air pressure. You can make a change in the air pressure. So that is the total design. Now, for this purpose, you need to understand that how the basically the breathing system. Obviously, we are moving the air. So you can say that to move the air, we have an air passageway. Air passageway. Obviously, it starts from the nostrils, typically from the nostrils. Then from the nostrils, it would go to the pharynx, which is a common point between the esophagus and the trachea. Pharynx. It's common. It is usually called as the throat. Then larynx. It is called as the voice box. Then trachea. Then the trachea is the straight. You can just say the trachea is the what I must say. It is a windpipe, pipe-like thing. Then it divides into bronchi. Bronchi is the bifurcation. The trachea is the single pipe. The trachea is a single pipe, and when it divides into bronchi, or in other words, bronchus. Bronchi, bronchi. Then they further divide into bronchioles. And the air is supposed to be moving to the last part of our lungs, which are plurally called as alveoli. Let me take a screenshot of it. Oops. Okay, hold on. I'll take this particular picture to the Jamboard. So basically, nostrils are not mentioned over here, although, but I'll one by one number them. So the pharynx, let's say the pharynx is number one. So this region is the pharynx. Then comes the larynx. The larynx is the voice box. Number two, this is the larynx. This is the larynx. You can say this whole region, the Adam's apple, the organ that is called as Adam's apple, that is basically the part of the larynx. It is your voice box. Then come the trachea. You must also know that the entry is known as the glottis. The entry of trachea is called as glottis. Larynx is the voice box. This one, this region, this is the voice box. The glottis is the point of opening of the trachea. Then comes the trachea. Let's give it number three. So this is the trachea. Then bronchi. I said that it would bifurcate, and this is uh, the fourth point. Then fifth one. Now you can see these branches, the branching. Can you see the branch? If you cannot on my screen, then you
Yeah,
may open the Jamboard on your side. You can you would be able to see it properly.
I can see. It's called the alveoli,
Okay.
right?
No, no, no. At the end of the bronchioles, you would have the alveoli.
Okay.
At the end of all the bronchioles, you would have the alveoli. So basically, these are the bronchioles. These are the bronchioles, the branches you can see over here. These are the bronchioles, and at the end of each of the bronchioles you would find the alveoli, which are not shown over here. If I'm able to show, I'll be opening the diagram. Let me write the word alveoli over here. Maybe it would be helpful. Yeah. Yes. Very beautiful picture. Now these are the alveoli, and the pipe or the duct. Let's take this whole picture to the Jamboard. Now you can see, let's enlarge it. Okay, now you can easily see that these all are alveoli. One, this is alveoli, alveolus, and you can, in the end, say that all these are alveoli, alveoli. Now, the alveoli basically,
Alveoli is the pleural, or I mean like the smaller part, and alveolus is the bigger part.
alveolus is basically a singular one like balloon, and the whole thing is alveoli. Okay, so now uh, alveolus, the alveolus is, you can say that the air would move in from here. The air would move in from here. It would be dividing into bronchioles. These are the bronchioles in which the air is being divided. This basically is another bronchiole. You should remember that this is not a bronchus. The larger division is a bronchus. This one, the bronchi, or in other words, the bronchus. So larger division of uh, sorry, the larger division of the trachea is the bronchus, but the smaller divisions are bronchioles. So basically, this is a bronchiole, and the bronchioles are further being divided, and the air would enter into the each alveolus. Now, do you look at this? These are called as the capillaries, and you know that the capillaries are coming from where? if you notice, if you try to remember, then from your right ventricle, from the right ventricle, the blood is pumped, and through the pulmonary artery, through the pulmonary artery, the blood would be moving to the, it would be moving to the alveolus, where now here the gaseous exchange would happen. The second part of this chapter, gaseous exchange would occur, and the blood would move back with the help of the pulmonary vein back into the left atrium, back into the left atrium. And you must also know that the air, whatever the air quality is, whatever the air quality is, everything that you inhale would first enter into the heart, because from the lungs the blood would directly enter into the heart. From the lungs the blood would directly enter into the heart. So that is why uh, hold on. So the blood would be taking everything entering into the lungs would to the heart. So that is how we basically study the movement of the air. So this is something very very simple. Now about all these, out of all these, I would prefer talking about the trachea. The trachea is made of the cartilage. Do you know what is cartilage?
Yeah, I do.
What is that?
It's part of the bone.
It's like yeah, it's kind of a bone, obviously, but if you try studying the cartilage properly, then cartilage, it is a very big blunder to say that the cartilage is a bone. But obviously, we have to improvise here. So the cartilage, you can also call it a soft bone. It does not have the deposition of calcium or phosphate. That is why it does not work as a bone. But yes, it would be, it would look like a bone. The cartilage is very soft, and if you want to experience the cartilage, you can see, you can just touch the front part of your nose and you can move it. And at the back of your nose, you cannot move it. This is the difference between a bone and the cartilage. The front part is made of cartilage, and the back of the nose is called as the bone, is made of the bones. So that is why you cannot move the back of your nose, but front of your nose you can move. Similarly, you can use your, you can fold your ear, even ear, talking about ear. So you can fold your ear. That ear is also made of cartilage. So the trachea is made of cartilage. So it means that it is easily bendable. Like we move, we we uh, what do we say? We move downward. We sometime we try picking the things from the we try picking the things from the ground. Obviously, it's not that kind of bendable that it would literally bend like a straw. No, 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 no. It does not mean that it would bend like a straw. It means that it would just slightly bendable, that it would not break if you like move your if you change your body posture. If you change your body posture, it would not break. That is the meaning of being bendable. It does not mean that it would just bend like a straw. Okay, next thing is uh, there are C-shaped rings on cartilage. Rings on cartilage. Now, what is the meaning of the C-shaped rings? If you closely look at the trachea, you see the a pattern. It looks like the stripes of a tiger. Do you see it like this?
Yeah, Despite,
Yes, why are they here? Remember that when you see the trachea closely, hold on, let me try opening it. Trachea. Mm, okay, just look at this. This is a very beautiful animation. See, this is about lungs expanding and relaxing and bending of the trachea. Do you see that the C-shaped rings are not continuous, but they would start from here and they would just end in the middle here. They would be literally appearing like a C, not O. Do you notice?
yeah,
Now these rings, these C-shaped rings, hold on, they actually prevent the trachea from bursting or collapsing. What is the meaning of it? It means that, let's say you are breathing. Does our breathing rate remains constant?
no, doesn't,
We are at rest. We are sitting.
yeah,
We are running. We are doing exercise. We have a fear. We are scared. Every time the breathing rate changes. Similarly, uh, the trachea is constantly facing different types of pressure. At the first time, it is having a lot of pressure. On the second time, it is having very less pressure. That may cause the trachea to burst or collapse. Now, this C-shaped cartilage would help it not bursting or collapsing. That is why it is really important. Okay, there is something I need you to know about the trachea, something more, and that is the inside of the trachea. Inside of the trachea, we have two kinds of cells. Two kinds of cells. One type is the mucus cells. The mucus cells, which would release the mucus to trap the dust, pathogens, and warm the air. Warm the air. Number two, the ciliary cells. Ciliary cells, basically, the cilia beat to move the mucus towards the throat, towards the throat, either to be spitted out. Is it spat out or spat? Spat out or
no,
swallowed. Hmm. So basically, these two things you will clearly see in the trachea. Let me show you. If they see the cross section, that would be much better. Otherwise, we can see this diagram. Let's write it. Let's try it once. Cross section of cross section of trachea. Do we have it here? No, we can just check the trachea. They were showing some diagram over there. This is good. These are the collagen fibers. This is basal lamina. These are the ICU. Okay, this is a basal cell. This one is columnar epithelial cells, and what is the sixth one? Goblet cell. These are secreting the mucus, and you can see the cilia over here. You can see the cilia, seventh one. These are the cilia. Now, the mucus would be present above the cilia, and it would be constantly moving the air. I'm sorry, constantly moving the mucus above up towards the throat to be spat out, or it would be swallowed. Okay, so we have talked about the trachea, and now for the next lesson, we would be talking about the ventilation phenomena, ventilation, how the ventilation occurs, in which we would be talking about the air pressure again. I would like you to revise it because the point of air pressure is too much important. And thoracic cavity, then muscles associated with breathing. Since we have done talking about with breathing, we have done talking about the whole structure of the breathing system. Now we can easily talk about the muscles associated with breathing, and and then if we would have time, we would be talking about gaseous exchange. Gaseous exchange is just a matter of 15 minutes because it is just very simple. Because we have discussed, since we have already discussed about the diffusion, it is very clear that how it would happen. Just a few things about the gaseous exchange. The main phenomena that we'd be talking about in the next lesson would be the ventilation phenomena, that how the muscles would be working for the movement of air inside the lungs and outside the lungs, and how the thoracic cavity would work. Got it?